The reality inside the building this week is very clear, and it's something Patriots fans should be paying close attention to because it goes far beyond noise, hype, or trash talk. This matchup with Denver is not being viewed internally as just another game on the schedule. It is being treated as a stress test for where this Patriots team truly stands right now, especially with the spotlight directly on the quarterback position, the offensive line, and how this defense responds when it knows exactly what the opponent is trying to do. Let's start with the most obvious and unavoidable factor. Denver is not starting Bo Nix. His injury completely reshapes how this game must be evaluated. Instead, the Broncos are turning to Jarrett Stidham, a name Patriots fans know extremely well. This is not an unfamiliar opponent, not a mystery prospect, not a rookie with zero NFL background. This is a quarterback who was drafted by New England, developed in the building, practiced against this type of defensive structure, and started meaningful games in his career. From a Patriots perspective, that familiarity matters, and it changes how you approach this game defensively. Stidham is coming in without recent regular season reps, and that fact cannot be ignored. He has not been battle-tested against the starting NFL defense in real game conditions for a long stretch. Preseason numbers get thrown around, but everyone in that locker room understands the difference between preseason defenses and what he is about to face. This Patriots defense is built on disguises, late movement, and forcing quarterbacks to process information after the snap. That is a brutal environment for a quarterback who hasn't played live football in meaningful moments recently. The plan defensively is not complicated, but it is demanding. Pressure must come from multiple angles, especially up the middle. Interior disruption is the key. When you have defensive linemen who can collapse the pocket without selling out on blitzes, everything else falls into place. This is where the Patriots feel confident. When the quarterback cannot step into throws, timing breaks down, and mistakes follow. Against a quarterback being thrown into a high-stakes situation, that advantage is real. But this game is not just about stopping Stidham, it is about whether the Patriots' offense can control the pace and avoid putting unnecessary stress on their own defense. That brings us directly to Drake Maye. The coaching staff knows the raw talent is there. The arm strength, the ability to make tight window throws, and the confidence to attack downfield are not in question. What is under the microscope is ball security and decision-making under pressure. Turnovers have been the one thing that consistently flips momentum, and that cannot continue if this team expects to advance. The run game plays a massive role here. When the Patriots are able to establish rhythm on the ground, everything else opens up. Play action becomes a weapon, bootlegs slow down the pass rush, and the offense stays ahead of the chains. When that balance disappears, the offense becomes predictable, and that is where problems start. This is why the performance of the offensive line is such a focal point internally. There have been stretches where the line has held up well, and others where breakdowns have been costly. Consistency is the demand. Defensively on the perimeter, the Patriots trust their corners. When healthy, this secondary believes it can erase options and force quarterbacks to hold the ball longer than they want to. That confidence allows more creative pressure packages and gives the defense flexibility. Against a Denver offense that relies heavily on protection, holding up, that matchup favors New England if executed properly. What makes this game compelling for Patriots fans is that it's not about excuses or hypotheticals. Both teams are dealing with circumstances, injuries, and pressure. The Patriots are being asked to prove that their identity is real, not theoretical. Can they protect the football, control the tempo, and punish a quarterback who is being asked to step into a difficult situation? That is the story unfolding here. This is a moment where discipline, preparation, and execution matter more than raw talent alone. The Patriots know exactly what is in front of them, and they also know this is the type of game that can define how the season is remembered. Do you see this matchup as an opportunity for the Patriots to assert control and expose Denver's situation at quarterback? Or do you think this is the kind of game where unpredictability becomes dangerous? The deeper you go into this matchup, the more it becomes clear that this is also a referendum on how fast this Patriots team is growing together, especially on offense. The coaching staff is not hiding from the fact that there are still rough edges. Timing routes are not always clean, protections are not always perfect, and communication can break down when the tempo speeds up. But what they are looking for now is progress, not perfection. This is the type of game where growth shows up in subtle ways. Fewer negative plays, smarter throwaways, and a willingness to take what the defense gives instead of forcing something that is not there. For Drake Maye, this is about controlling the game mentally as much as physically. Denver's defensive approach is built on making quarterbacks uncomfortable before the snap. Shifting looks late and baiting young passers into throws they think are there but aren't. The Patriots are well aware of that. The emphasis all week has been on patience. There is no need to win the game with one throw. If the check down is there, take it. If the defense is sitting back, run the ball and make them prove they can stop it consistently. Those small decisions stack up over 4 quarters. Special teams also quietly matter more than people want to admit. Field position has been a swing factor in multiple Patriots games this season, both good and bad. When the Patriots have been pinned deep, the offense has struggled to find rhythm. When they've been given short fields, they've capitalized more often than not. Against a Denver team that is also navigating change at quarterback, flipping the field can force mistakes and limit the playbook available to them. There is also an emotional layer to this game that shouldn't be ignored. Facing a former Patriot at quarterback adds a different edge, even if players won't say it publicly. Defenders want to prove they know his tendencies. Coaches want to show they can out-scheme someone familiar with the system. That competitive undercurrent is real, and it often shows up early, especially on third down. From a big-picture standpoint, the Patriots understand that wins like this help define credibility. This is not about style points. It is about stacking correct football plays, avoiding self-inflicted wounds, and closing when opportunities present themselves. A disciplined win here would reinforce the belief inside the locker room that the direction is right, even if the process is still ongoing.
Everything points back to execution. If the Patriots protect the football, control the line of scrimmage, and force Denver to play from behind with a quarterback still trying to find rhythm, the advantage shifts heavily in New England's favor. If they don't, they invite chaos into a game that does not need it. That's the lens through which this game should be viewed. Not hype, not narratives, not outside noise, but whether the Patriots can play clean, connected football for 4 full quarters and turn preparation into results. Another layer that deserves attention is how the Patriots are managing expectations internally versus what fans see on the outside. Inside the building, there's a strong awareness that this roster is still defining itself. That does not mean lowering standards. It means understanding which mistakes are correctable and which ones are unacceptable. Mental errors, missed assignments, and penalties that extend drives are at the top of the unacceptable list. Those are the things that turn competitive games into frustrating losses, and those are exactly what this coaching staff is trying to eliminate week by week. This is why situational football keeps coming up in meetings. Third down, red zone, 2-minute defense, 4-minute offense. These moments decide games far more often than highlight plays. The Patriots believe they can win this game if they are better in those situations, even if the stat sheet doesn't look dominant. Converting third and manageable, forcing a field goal instead of a touchdown, and bleeding the clock when protecting a lead are the quiet signs of a team moving in the right direction. Defensively, communication is everything. When you're facing an offense with a quarterback stepping in unexpectedly, the goal is to speed up his internal clock. That doesn't just come from sacks. It comes from tight coverage, disguised zones, and defenders arriving at the catch point with bad intentions. The Patriots want to make every completion feel contested. The more physical and uncomfortable the game becomes, the more it favors a defense that thrives on discipline and structure. Offensively, the confidence in Maye is real, but it is measured. They want him aggressive, but not reckless. The coaching staff has emphasized that a punt is not a failure if it comes after a smart decision. Protecting the football keeps the defense fresh and limits opportunities for momentum swings. That philosophy might not always be flashy, but it is how you win games when you're still building consistency. This game is also about sending a message to the locker room. Winning games like this reinforces trust in the process. It tells young players that preparation matters and that discipline pays off. Losing because of avoidable mistakes does the opposite. That's why this matchup carries weight beyond 1 week. It's a measuring stick for accountability. As this game unfolds, watch how the Patriots respond to adversity. A bad call, a missed tackle, a stalled drive. Those moments reveal more than scripted plays ever will. The belief is that this team is learning how to respond better, faster, and together. One more element that cannot be ignored is how this game tests leadership, especially in moments when momentum is fragile. Young teams often reveal themselves not when everything is going right, but when something unexpected happens. A turnover, a blown coverage, a drive that stalls in the red zone. The Patriots are paying close attention to who takes control in those moments, who communicates clearly, and who keeps the group focused on the next snap instead of dwelling on the last mistake. That growth is happening quietly, but it matters. On the sideline, the emphasis has been on composure. No panic adjustments, no overreactions. Stick to the plan, trust the preparation, and let the game come to you. That mindset is especially important against a team like Denver, where one mistake can suddenly shift energy in the stadium and create pressure situations that didn't exist 5 minutes earlier. The Patriots want to be the team that applies that pressure, not the one reacting to it. You also have to look at how complementary football fits into this matchup. When the offense sustains drives, the defense stays fresh. When the defense forces quick stops, the offense gets more opportunities to dictate tempo. That balance has shown flashes this season, but the challenge is sustaining it for an entire game. This is the kind of opponent where that balance can decide everything. Another subtle factor is discipline and coverage. Denver will try to simplify things for their quarterback with quick throws and defined reads. That means tackling in space becomes critical. Missed tackles turn routine plays into momentum-shifting gains. The Patriots know that if they tackle cleanly and force second and third and long situations, they can dictate terms defensively. As the fourth quarter approaches, this game is likely to come down to execution under pressure. That's where identity is formed. Do the Patriots close? Do they protect the lead? Do they finish drives? Those questions won't be answered by words or projections, only by how they play when the game tightens. This is not just another week. It's another data point in the larger story of where this team is heading. Every snap adds clarity. Every decision builds confidence or exposes weakness. And that's why this matchup deserves attention from start to finish. As you look at this game through the Patriots' lens, there's also a clear understanding that consistency is the final hurdle. This team has shown it can execute stretches of good football. The challenge now is stacking those stretches until they become the standard, not the exception. Coaches keep coming back to the idea that the margin in the NFL is thin, and when you're not yet a finished product, discipline is what keeps you competitive. That is the difference between a game that slips away late and one that you control from start to finish. One thing that stands out is how much emphasis has been placed on communication across all three phases. On offense, protections must be called cleanly and adjusted quickly. On defense, coverage checks have to be sharp, especially when the opponent is trying to simplify reads and speed up the game. On special teams, alignment and awareness matter just as much as athleticism. These are not glamorous details, but they are the backbone of winning football. The Patriots also understand that confidence is built snap by snap. A successful early drive can settle a young offense. A quick defensive stop can change the tone of the game. These small victories add up, and the belief is that if they can start fast and avoid giving Denver easy momentum, they can dictate how this game is played. That control is what they're chasing. There's no illusion inside the building that this is easy. Every opponent in this league is capable, and any lapse can be punished. That's why the focus remains narrow. Do your job. Trust the scheme. Play for the guy next to you. When teams are still finding their identity, those principles matter more than anything else. As the final minutes approach, this game becomes a test of maturity. Can the Patriots handle success without relaxing? Can they respond to adversity without pressing? Those answers will say a lot about where this team is headed in the weeks to come. This is the kind of matchup that doesn't just add a win or a loss to the record. It adds clarity. And clarity is exactly what this Patriots team is chasing right now. There's also a broader perspective that Patriots fans shouldn't overlook, and it has to do with how games like this shape belief inside a young roster. When a team is still forming its identity, every win earned through discipline reinforces the idea that the approach works. Every loss caused by mistakes creates doubt. That psychological swing is real, and it's something coaches are constantly managing. This matchup is another opportunity to strengthen trust in the process rather than test it. What's especially important is how the Patriots handle momentum swings. Football games are never linear. There will be moments where Denver strings together a drive, or a play breaks down unexpectedly. The question is whether the Patriots can absorb that moment without unraveling. That resilience has been inconsistent this season, and improving it is a priority. Calm responses, clear communication, and steady execution are what separate teams that close games from teams that let them slip away. Another detail worth watching is how efficiently the Patriots finish drives. Moving the ball between the 20s has not always been the problem. Turning those opportunities into points has been. Red zone execution is about spacing, timing, and trust. It's about quarterbacks throwing on rhythm and receivers being exactly where they're supposed to be. If the Patriots can clean that up, even slightly, it changes the entire complexion of the game. Defensively, discipline late in downs remains critical. Third and long situations are where defenses can assert control, but only if assignments are sound. Giving up a conversion because of a missed contain or a blown zone negates all the work done earlier in the series. The Patriots know this, and it's been hammered home all week. Finish the down. Get off the field. Give the offense a chance. As this game moves toward its final phase, it becomes less about scheme and more about habits. The habits you build and practice show up when fatigue sets in and pressure rises. That's why this game matters. It's a live evaluation of whether those habits are taking hold. In the end, this is a game that can quietly say a lot about the Patriots' trajectory, not because of headlines or narratives, but because of how they handle the details. Clean football wins games. Sloppy football keeps you searching for answers. At this point, the conversation shifts from what the Patriots want to be to what they are willing to execute when the game tightens. That's where real separation happens in this league. Anyone can look sharp when conditions are clean. The challenge comes when drives stall, when the opponent adjusts, and when the margin for error shrinks to almost nothing. This is where discipline, not talent, takes over. The Patriots are very aware that this stretch of the season